Hey, welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. Long time no see, huh? Sorry about that. I feel like I've had a punch in the gut, 1-2. First with my wife's cancer, and she did survive, thank goodness. Thank you for all your prayers and concerns. I know many of you have commented on that. And thank you for the love and support from the Backyard Professor Chess Club. I haven't visited it for months. I apologize. I'm going to get back onto it. I think I'm getting to the uphill. We're in the healing stage now, and we are the most vulnerable people to this second punch in the gut, the COVID virus. And I'm telling you, it's really critical for me to remain isolated, quarantined, because I cannot get sick with anything either, or it will kill my wife. And that puts a enormous strain on me. And so, of course, I'm not at all impressed with the idiot we have in our leadership in our country. I think he's a national embarrassment. He is as dumb as dirt. And it's an embarrassment for our nation. I did not vote for him. That guy is not my president. And that's the most charitable way I can put my disagreeing with pretty much everything that guy says. He is a disgrace to the presidency. He is a disgrace to America. And I'll be the first to say so. And if he wants my respect, he's going to have to grow up and quit being a flippin' petulant fourth grader. And be a man. Be a leader, not some moron that cares more about your own ego. Don't get me started on this. Before I have a fabulous chess game to show you. Now that we're going to be staying enclosed, I'm not going to go socializing for the rest of this year, truly. COVID has been underestimated worldwide, is my suspicion. I've been watching the news quite a lot, and I have to be informed. I'm fortunate I've kept my job, thank goodness, so we're okay that way. But I want to show you, I've virtually been in the same room with her. I have to take good care of her. And so in the process of that, I've picked up my art again. And I do fantasy paintings, and I love to do the digital art. I don't use oils. I have done some watercolor painting, and that's fun, but I'm really in love with digital, and I've been doing caricatures and digital paintings and things like that. Fantasy paintings. My daughter is a world-renowned, award-winning fantasy author, literally, Katie Cross. K-A-T-I-E-C-R-O-S-S. Go look her books up on Amazon. They're cheap with Kindle, and she tells a whopping good story. The Network series is her most popular. But, I mean, she's done some cookbooks, and she's done some how-to books and all that, but her fantasy is the best. So, being the proud dad that I am doing fantasy paintings with her in them. And this last one I did, I'm in it with her, and I'll show you those real quick, and then we'll get to a magnificent Bobby Fischer chess game. I think I'm on the up and up. I am going to be able to produce more chess videos for you now. And I apologize for the long hiatus. Had you told me a year ago this would happen, there's just no way I would have believed it. But we have a world emergency, and we have the most inept world leader to deal with it. Our timing just is really horrible in our country. I hope this next election cycle, this fall, we Americans wake up and do something serious about correcting our blatant, stupid error of electing a billionaire who doesn't care about anything but his stocks. So, anyway, here are some art pieces that I've done, and then I'll jump back onto this chess game. I'm trying to do this outside because the fluorescent lighting takes away the color. But this is Katie fighting her favorite mythical beast, the dragons. She's out taking a hike, and she's doing her normal daily routine. She writes about dragons, and I love to draw dragons and paint dragons, so this is her having fun with dragons. It's a fun piece. She doesn't really have biceps like that, but I gave her great big powerful arms. I tried to caricature her face, and I just can't. It must be daddy bias or something, because she's too beautiful to me. So I caricatured her body and the situation instead, and it turned out really fun. She really liked it. So there's one of my pieces. And here is a fun caricature of a person that I work with at work. She loves to bow hunt, and she's very good at it, and she loves to go jeeping. She loves the outdoors. And so the idea here was try to get a ditzy brunette out there hunting, tearing it up in the backcountry with a jeep. And she just howled with laughter on this one. This was she really, really liked it. And she's hung it up in her office. So that's another fun caricature that I've done. It's fun to make people laugh, you know. And here is another fun one of another gal that I work with. And she loves to shoot her shotgun, she said. And so she posed for me like she was holding a shotgun, and I immediately thought Wild Wild West. So I put her in a Wild West setting, and she was just stunned. She's thrilled. She told me I needed to find that outfit, and I told her, good luck, that's a full leather outfit. That'll be several $1,000s. So that was fun. She really enjoyed that. And this is another fun caricature I did of yet again another gal that I work with at work. She's the one in front. She's a personal fitness trainer. And so I told her I was going to put her in the weight room, and all those big macho boys in the back trying to impress her, and she's holding up with her finger 1,000 pounds, you know. It's fun. And then the four famous people behind her looking at her and wondering, ooh, wow, this babe is tough, is Rocky Stallone, of course, and I love what I did with his eyebrows. And then, of course, The Rock, his eye popping, and he's happy, he's excited. He likes everybody who lifts weights. Stallone's not so sure. And then Schwarzenegger, he's completely suspicious. You can see he's looking at her like, no way. And Bruce Lee, he's cautious, because we all know how strong Bruce Lee really was for his size, and so here's a gal who could give him some competition. It's a fun one, and she just really, really laughed about this one, too. A lot of fun to make people smile and laugh and give them something fun to look at. And here's one that I did a caricature of a caricature. I had a professional artist tell me that's a good way to practice caricatures. So I did this one, and I can't remember what stupid thing Donald Trump did or said. There's about 10 a day he says and does. So, and it's always all about him, so I did this caricature. The Donald abides in his own narcissism. And then there's Donald Beer, because he's drunk with stupidity. That's the idea. And then, of course, Sam Elliott. He's fun. So there's a good caricature. And then I had a good friend of mine say, the one good thing about COVID virus is I get a floss twice a day now because I have the time, and so it'll make my dentist happy. And so I made a cartoon out of that, and she absolutely loved it. I shared this one on the internet, and it's a well-enjoyed piece. Good, clean joke. I decided to put floss absolutely everywhere, through her teeth and around her nose and down on the floor, and it was a lot of fun to do. And then this was fun for me. In the last Mormon General Conference, they did the Hosanna shout, and Dallin Oaks, poor Dallin Oaks, he's one of the first presidency. He's not the leader of the church, but he likes to imagine he is. He just could not keep in rhythm at all with everybody else. So I made this cartoon of showing him going left when he should have been going right, and going right when he should have been going left, and yet he's saying all the other guys are the ones looking stupid. But there's Russell Nelson, and I loved the caricature I got of him, and then Henry B. Eyring, and then Jeffrey Holland. And of course, Holland is known for his jowls and his great big sad puppy dog eyes. So fun to caricature these guys. And then with one of his most embarrassing statements, our own president brags that he's a stable genius. So I decided to make him the dumber portion of Dumb and Dumber. And I got yelled at for putting poor Jim Carrey with such an idiot when Jim Carrey is so much smarter, and I have to agree with that. But yeah, anybody who says, believe me, I'm a stable genius, you really have to be seriously careful about. So there is that one. That was my very first caricature of Donald Trump. Not my last either. He poses too many stupid, arrogant poses not to make fun of him. And he has no idea what a clown he really is. He really thinks he's totally admired by everyone. This is another one of the stupid comments of Trump. He was very upset that the governors were not appreciating the help he was giving them, even though it was truly minimal help. And so he was complaining about that, and he said, if they're not going to appreciate me, I'm not going to help them. And so my interpretation is, it's all arrogance. He wants to show who the powerful one is. And so I drew this caricature of him. One last one of the Trump, the Donald. His solution against COVID-19 is possibly injecting disinfectants in us, because the virus is killed on surfaces, so why not in us? That looked good to Trump. He suggested that as a serious proposal. And now he says, because he got so much obvious criticism from all the medical experts and all of the makers of Lysol and Clorox bleach and all that, he said he was being sarcastic. When you watch the tape, he was not being sarcastic. And the sad fact is, America, we can't fix stupid. We can vote it out, however. And that's my suggestion this fall. So that's my most recent caricature of Donald Trump. Pinhead, but great big mouth. And this one I call, I've Got Your Back. It's me with my daughter in a fantasy setting. Notice the dragon in the background. If you can, this light's not the best light to do this. It's all I've got, so what the heck. But she's just beginning to turn on the power here. And she has a look on her face like, I've got this, Dad. And I've got the look on my face like, well, I've got your back, because we're going to take care of business. So she's just getting started, and then let me show you the one where she's ramped up the power. Right there. Now she's kicking butt. She's got all of the special power sapphires and modes in her wand, in her staff, on her belt, and in my sword turned on. I don't know if you can see the tip of my sword or not. There we go. I'm cutting off the top of it. Anyway, so that's her in full power mode. That's a fun one. So that's enough of my art. Let's get back to some chess, shall we? Time to do some chess. Thank you for viewing my art. I enjoy doing it. All right, let's go with this Bobby Fischer game. He's playing a gentleman named Cell, C-E-L-L-E. I get this out of his Bobby Fischer, My 60 Memorable Games book. This was in California, 1964, so Fischer was picking up on his strength. He was definitely a fabulous grandmaster by now. This was a simultaneous with 10 boards. This is one of 10 that he played. He plays the Evans Gambit. And so he goes to Oh crap, I've got this set up wrong. What a moron. Okay, hang on, I'm gonna redo this part. Yeah, it's been too long since I've done videos. Now I'm showing what a dork I really am. Woohoo! Right, that's better. Let's see what other kind of blunders I can make. Boy, I'm probably the only commentator in the whole world who blundered before I even made my first move. Yeah, powerful chess here, baby, right? So he opens up with e4 and Sell comes to e5. Fischer's not going to waste any time on anything except two items. He wants the center control and he wants to keep the initiative in this game because he gently gave it up and he had to find a way to get it back. And how he does this is really good. Bishop c4 and bishop c5, so we've got an Evans Gambit opening because he pops out b4. And you know, the Evans Gambit has been analyzed to absolute death. This was in 1964. In the 1990s, of course, as Fischer noted, by then it had been analyzed to death, but it still makes for an interesting chess game. So let's see what he does. Now, the bishop took the pawn. And Fischer says normally the bishop in this position would have gone back, but he didn't. No, I lied. Sorry, see, there's another blunder. Chalk it up to the backyard professor to be a blunder king. Yeah, baby, I'm the best there is at blunders. When Fischer pushed the c-pawn, the general response in Evans Gambit, at least in the 1960s, according to Fischer, was to bump the bishop back to here, but Sell instead put his bishop here. And Fischer said, well, that must be that must be the thing to do. It didn't bother Fischer at all. So, and now this is where he begins in a way to, he didn't quite do it well, and then his opponent did it even worse. And so now they're both kind of on the fine edge of who keeps the initiative, right? He went ahead and took the pawn, and the knight took the pawn, and the knight took the knight, and then the pawn took the knight. Now, we see that there could be an exchange of queens. Is that casting a shadow? It is, isn't it? We see that he could have exchanged the queens. Instead, Fischer bumps his queen up to here. What a beautiful fork. Nice little tactic. Yeah? Because now there's a threat of checkmate in one. Right? But he also has access to that central e-pawn. So that's a beautiful little fork, a great threat, and his opponent has to be on the ball. Now remember, this is one of 10, and Fischer is in his early youth. But by now, he's a strong grandmaster, 1964. So he goes g6, of course, and then Fischer takes the queen, or takes the pawn, and centralizes the queen in a beautiful setup. So now his opponent is not in good shape. He brings the knight to f6, and now, blam, bishop a3. Wow. The diagonals are powerful. Fischer's comment here was really interesting in his game. He said, it is amazing how crippled black is by that one move. That's potent, man. That is really potent. So he comes to rook f8, and now Fischer castles. Connect your rooks, grab an open file. That is a very good thing to always do. And now knight to g4, he's going to try to dislodge that powerful central queen, bring the queen back. She's not out of play. She is still a dramatic influence in this game, to be sure. But now the bishop takes a3. He sacrifices. He doesn't sacrifice yet. He will here shortly. Then the knight takes the bishop. Fischer is... They're both going back and forth. Fischer is better developed at this point, but they're both seeking the initiative. This isn't going to be so much a game about material considerations as it is to open the lanes to attack Black's king, which is one of the tactics, one of the long-term strategies in the game. Since he can no longer castle, his king will remain in the center. What you do with that then is you go open up that king area, right? The central area. And you must do it fairly quick. I mean, you can't lollygag around, right? So the knight takes the a3, and then the queen to e7, a very strong move here. Very strong move, he said. And then bishop to b5 check. You'll notice his rooks have access to that file, and his diagonal is putting check to the king, and his queen can come up into here eventually. That's why this was such a good move, because it prevented him from doing that at that point. Well, he wasn't going to anyway, but this is the angle Fischer is looking at. He's going to open up that king some way. And he goes c6. Now, here is where Fischer sacrifices the piece. This is not about material. It is about going and opening up the king, because the board position is such that he has that fabulous open file lane toward the king that he can put his rooks on. So to keep the bishop, instead of bringing his philosophy here, his psychology as it were, is to get more pieces here to cause havoc right now. And it's not about having less or more pieces. It's about development, speedy attack, formation, right? This is his thinking. Now, he doesn't immediately take the bishop. He bumps his queen up to double check this piece here. He's threatening to win a piece is what he's doing. And now he brings the rook into it. And now, of course, his opponent has to really think. He says, uh-oh, wait. I better get rid of a piece, which is fine for Fischer because now he's going to dominate. You see the power of that open file. You see the power of the diagonals. See, his queen has been back here, but she hasn't been out of the game. I was kind of hinting earlier that he can come up to here, and now it's a real tough chore for Sell to put him off. Bishop d7, if I remember right in the comments, that was considered a really good move. And now, knight to d6 check. Here we come. So he is down a piece. He lost his bishop, but his formation is far more coordinated. He comments in this game around this area here pretty quick that Black's pieces are just stepping on each other's toes while White has a better coordination. And it is that coordination with the idea of maintaining the initiative that Fischer is looking for. So king goes to e7. And now knight f5 check. Notice, very interestingly, that square is covered by the pawn. And that's a tough move for us amateurs to see. I mean, he's just going to take the knight, but look what it does to opening up the king. That is what Fischer is after. He's not after material count right now. And this is a hard concept for us to grasp, but it's one we're going to have to eventually have to learn. And if you say, well, he threw his knight away. No, he did not throw it away. He's opening up the position. Notice the very dangerous position here of the queen in front of the king with black. And Fischer has a chance to get the queen here, right? With a rook move. So this shows the coordination of Fischer is better because he has opened up the position of the king better with a dominating queen over here. See, Fischer is on the offense and Sell is trying to defend, and so that's what tells us Fischer has the initiative here. Yeah? And now he goes rook a to c8. And now he's threatening the queen. He's threatening the queen. Fischer goes check. Pretty awesome. That's a pretty awesome move. Both queens are attacked. Fischer's not worried about moving his queen to safety. He is dominating with the initiative. And he goes down the exchange here. This is another concept that we have to learn eventually, is because to trade a rook for a bishop, you really have to know what you're doing to lose that exchange. So this is quite instructive in that regard. And of course, the queen will take it, yeah. So he went down the exchange, but look how he's opening up the king. He's got a rook possibility of check, but he does a different kind of check. He brings the pawn up, check. If he makes the mistake, let's just watch. This is not good. Now, the knight can take the pawn. And you're going, okay, what was the purpose of that pawn move then? Let's watch. Now he has closed off the king's escape over to that side of the board. Now he can go check using the open file. Now the king can't go that way. The king has to stay near the rook and the queen of Fischer, which is a very powerful combination because the king is in the open. That's why, see, isn't it amazing that he's got the queen and the rook, and his opponent has the rook, which is attacking the queen, which is attacking the queen, and a rook and a knight. Fischer is down like crazy, and yet the king is open, so he must maintain the initiative. Isn't that fascinating how Fischer does this? This is brilliant. This is really, really good, seriously. This is quite the issue. There is nowhere for the king to go, so he's forced to lose his knight. That's the only way he can block check. The king can't move. So, check again. So Fischer gains a piece, and he has all the perfect power. The combination of power, because there's no cover for Black's king. The reason I'm emphasizing that is because Fischer commented on it a couple of times in the game. And so I'm probably making a bigger deal about it than he did. But it's a great lesson for us. There's so many things he does in this that is just so incredible. King f6. Blam. Fischer forced the king to move away from protecting the queen. And now he's up material. 2 moves ago, if we would have taken the material consideration, Fischer was basically losing. But his superior position brought him out. Brought him to the win. Rook F to D8. And now he goes Queen G4. Whoops, sorry. Queen to G4. And that is where Black resigned. Because now he's got him. Now he just simply comes down here, check, and he forces him into the backside. So that is one fantastically interesting game with Fischer as a young grandmaster, but a very, very, very potent one. And this was a simultaneous of 10 boards. I don't know the results of that entire simultaneous, but if Fischer played like this, which he usually did, then he didn't lose any of those other games either. So anyway, that's a great chess game to play over and look at and learn from. It's good to be back. Thank you for all your good wishes, your thoughts, your prayers. We are alive. We are doing well. We are being safe. Please, every one of you, be safe. Quit listening to the president. He doesn't know what he is talking about when it comes to this virus. He has consistently blundered for the last 6 months involving this virus. Listen to the medical experts. They are the ones who know. So, social distancing is not, yes, it's an inconvenience, but it's not a disaster. And quit listening to the minority ball babies who feel like they have to liberate their states. Trump is politicizing this in a most ridiculous manner. Don't pay any attention to the minority. The vast majority of us want to be safe. When they say money is more important than life, they've drank the Kool-Aid. We want to live. So be safe, be wise, and listen to the medical experts. They know what's happening. They know the true timeline. This is not a quick fix. It's not going to magically disappear like some yo-yos in Washington, D.C. love to imagine. They obviously are completely clueless as to what reality is. Don't us be clueless. There's no reason to be. We don't have to be guided by clownhood. Let's go with the experts. And in the meantime, be safe. Do well, have fun, stay happy, be good, keep studying chess, and I will return with much more chess videos in the up and coming weeks. So I'm back. I'll see what I can get done here. Thanks for watching my chess videos. Have a safe and great day.